Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a Revolting review. I'm Random Ross and today I review Bates Motel. So this is a mystery psychological horror drama based on the characters by Robert Bloch, starring Vera Farmiga, Freddie Highmore, Max Thieriot or something, Olivia Cooke, Nicola Peltz, Nestor Carbonell, and Kenny Johnson. So I was going to do these reviews season by season, but I thought, hey, let's just do all 5 seasons in one go, because the whole thing's pretty much serialized anyway, and it's like one big story, or at least one big continuation. So yeah, this show ran for 5 seasons on the A&E network in America, or the Universal Channel over here in the UK. Following Norman Bates, played by Freddie Highmore, in his teenage years, and his relationship with his mother Norma, played by Vera Farmiga, and we get some characters made for the TV show in there, including Norman's half-brother, which he never really had in the films, called Dylan, and a love interest, Emma, played by Olivia Cooke, and yeah, we see many things going on in the small town that they live in. You know, not in the first season, Norma and Norman, after Norman kills his father during the blackout, which he has no memory of, and Norma makes it look like an accident, they start a new life and buy a motel. And they buy the motel, rename it, rebrand it as Bates Motel. We discover in the first season that the motel was used by the previous owner and a businessman, and that they were running a sex trade with the local sheriff deputy, and that's what happens in the first season, as well as Norman slowly losing his sanity but trying to maintain his normality and be sane. That's what the first season's about. The second season follows the aftermath of Norman's teacher, because at the end of season 1, Norman, he murders his teacher, who is a beautiful woman, and he, during a blackout, he does kill her, and it focuses on the aftermath of that. And Norma finds herself in dangerous situations as well, and her past comes back. Her brother comes into it, who used to sexually abuse her, and we find out that Norman's half-brother Dylan is the product of Norma's sexual abuse, which is kind of, not pleasant, I imagine. The third season then focuses on Norman, again, slowly losing his sanity and going insane, and in it we get the sheriff, Alex Romero, who really helps Norman and tries to look out for him and even gets him some help. By the fourth season though, romance forms between Alex and Norma, and they get married and they do fall in love. But at first they just get married so she can, help Norman through his health insurance, because Norman gets institutionalized, and then he goes insane and even more, and kills his mother Norma. This time he kills her by carbon monoxide poisoning whilst trying to kill himself. and Romero fails to save Norma in time. And then in the 5th and final season is basically a remake of Psycho from Norman's perspective. And in the final season, there is an episode where Rihanna comes into... Well, no, there's a few episodes with Rihanna in it as Marion Crane. And in that episode is where the iconic shower scene happens. Does Norman kill her in the shower? No. They change things up big time. You know, like they basically, like I say, Bates Motel is the 5th and final season is a remake of Psycho, and it's not shot for shot. It's a rehash, yeah, but it's a completely different rehash. The shower scene, Norman doesn't kill Marion, he kills Sam Loomis instead, because Norman actually does care for Marion, but he actually manages to not kill her. And also, Norman isn't in like full Norman mode. He's fully aware of his actions during that shower kill, and he kills Sam Loomis because he's an adulterator, you know. And Marion discovers that he's married and everything, so that whole plot has changed. And in the end, Norman, well, I weren't a huge fan of the ending. I was hoping the show would end where Norman does what Anthony Perkins does at the end of the original Psycho, where he gazes that sinister grin at at the camera with his thoughts, alone with his thoughts, but they don't. Norman eventually gets his brother to shoot him, put him out of his misery, and then he gets buried next to his mother, Norma, and dies at the age of 22. As for Dylan and Emma, they both fall in love, get married, and they have Norman's blessing, and they have a kid together, and they have a happily ever after. So yeah, so the likes. First of all, I like that this was a reimagining, a retelling of the classic character of Norman Bates. They modernised it, yet Norman was like, it was like, had that 50s feel to it still, but it was yet modernised. I love Freddie Highmore's performance as Norman, how he slowly tries to maintain sane, but is slowly deteriorating and becoming mad and going into a state of madness, and how he, in the final season, becomes the Norman Bates we more or less know, but modernised, and he's a bit more younger in it. They do a time jump from a few seasons. It like takes, like in the first season Norman's like 16, and then the final season he's 22. Then and then he slowly becomes, but then it doesn't end the way I was hoping it'd end. I like that they did change up the shower scene. I mean, at the time this blew my mind, and I was like, no, they can't do that. But again, like I say, it was sort of a remake, so I like that they changed up the shower scene, how they did the whole gender change as well, from it being Marion, a woman in the shower, to Sam, a man in the shower, and Norman killing him. I also like the location and the setting. The location and the setting of the Bates Motel, including the motel and the house, is just identical to the original setting. I imagine that must have been the original set that they filmed the series on. So I like that. I liked, that we got some characters made for the TV show, including his brother Dylan, his love interest Emma, and the sheriff. Well, I don't know if he was meant to be the same sheriff from Psycho, but I also loved Vera Farmiga as Norma. She was being the protective mother, trying to protect her son, trying to be a good mother, but in the end she was blinded by reality, and Norman eventually got to her and killed her, which was saddened, and he dug her up and kept her body preserved, and that was pretty messed up, but still, Vera Farmiga was in the 5th and final season, as Norman's thoughts. See, Norman, he had hallucinations of his mother being good, like the good mother, which was real, and then the psycho mother who was in his head, which eventually took over him and was his evil personality. Yeah, so this was a good TV show, and it did last 5 seasons, and in a way I'm kind of glad it ended the way it did, because that way they can't like revive it or anything. So yeah, I think it ran for a good 5 seasons and they ended it when they did. So it had a good run, and I'm glad that they ended it on the way they ended it. So yeah, Bates Motel was a great show, and I recommend it. If you love Psycho, you'll like this one. And I believe all 5 seasons are on Netflix, at least the UK Netflix. So yeah, Bates Motel. You know what? I'll give this 5 machetes out of 5, because, like I say, it was a retelling and it was done good. There were some episodes in there that were stale, some episodes that were filler, some episodes that weren't necessary. You know, so there's a few dislikes on there, but other than that, it's a good TV show. So yeah, that is it for my whole Psycho reviews. Like I said, I thought about doing this, reviewing this show season by season, but I thought, I can't be arsed. It just means making more videos, more editing and all that. So I thought, let's just do the show in one go. So there we are. So have you seen this one? Let me know down in the comments below if you have. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Share with your friends, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are down below in the description, so you can check all that out. No pressure, but if you want to see more from me and you're new here, then by all means, you know, feel free to do so. So yeah, so until next time, don't have nightmares.